They're 1 week old. These medium Australian Labradoodle puppies are thriving, and have they ever grown since our last video. In today's video, we're going to give you an update on their weight. We're going to talk a little bit about why it's important to monitor their weight. We're going to talk a little bit about early neurological stimulation, give you an update on Rayne, and we're also going to talk a bit about getting ready to welcome your puppy home. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these medium Australian Labradoodle puppies are now a week old. And holy smokes, what a change. The first week always surprises me when they go from these completely helpless little squeaking creatures who really need help with absolutely everything to being strong, starting to move around, and having no problem at all looking after themselves. It's just an incredible amount of things that happen in the first 7 days. Although when you look at the puppies, it seems like they do nothing except for eat and sleep. And I'm sure for Mama Rayne, when you have 9 babies nursing, it feels like all they do is eat 24/7. So let's talk a little bit about Mama Rayne and how she's doing. She is thriving. She's enjoying her role as a mom. She's looking after the puppies extraordinarily well. She's very protective of them. If anyone comes anywhere near that she's unfamiliar with, she's up like a shot, and she has one ferocious bark when she needs to be sounding like a protector. Peanut came in. Peanut's our little old girl. Peanut came in with me last night when I was getting Rayne's midnight snack ready for her. And Rayne just told her right off. There was growling, barking, and it was like, nuh-uh, back away. Stay at least 6 feet away from my babies. She was very unfriendly. But about, I don't know, 3 minutes later, when I took Rayne out for her last bathroom break, she's out there with Peanut, and they're kissing and talking, and they're the very best of friends, because then they are not anywhere near the puppies, and Rayne doesn't feel that there's any threat. So Rayne's a very gentle, very sweet girl, but all dogs have that incredibly strong instinct to protect their babies, and you can definitely see it in Rayne. She'll also bark at anybody who is a stranger who might come near. Now, we keep the dogs separate, mostly for safety reasons in terms of health and disease, but also because we want Rayne not to be upset like that. We want her to be relaxed and calm, because everything that Rayne's feeling goes right through that milk bar into these puppies, and they assimilate not just the nutrition, but also all of the emotional energy that Rayne has. Rayne, as I said, is a very calm and relaxed girl, other than when she is in protective mode. So that is one of the reasons why we make sure that there isn't anything threatening Rayne or the puppies, because we don't want the puppies to be stressed. We want the puppies to be just like they are now, all cuddled up, relaxed, and feeling like they can do their job of growing and getting stronger. Rayne is eating very well. She had about 2, maybe 3 days where she was a little picky with her food, and you had to hand feed it to her. But that quickly disappeared, and now she's just ravenous all of the time. So she's still eating about 5 times more than normal. So an average meal for her right now will be about a pound of raw frozen food and about 1.5 cups of freeze-dried food. Now, normally she would eat about 3/4 of a cup of freeze-dried food twice a day, or she would eat about a pound of frozen once a day. But she's having more than what she would eat in a whole day 4 times a day. So we feed her 4 times a day. She eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then she has an overnight snack as well. So the only thing that's going on with Rayne that's a little out of the normal, is that for whatever reason, she's decided that she needs to go to the bathroom during the night. This is really unusual. It's unusual for dogs, period. It's also highly unusual for mom dogs. But that's what's going on. So either she barks or she bangs on her wall to tell us, hey, come let me out, I gotta go. Or we do have a pee pad we've put down, and sometimes she'll just use the pee pad. But generally speaking, she'll bark or bang on her wall. Our bedroom's right next door, so of course we can hear everything all the time. And that's intentionally planned that way so that we are just right there for her all the time. And now Rayne knows that. Well, that gives her a level of security as well. She had her puppies in our bedroom, and then she moved into here, into the maternity ward in our doodle den. And so she's well aware that we are just on the other side of this wall. And so that provides her with some comfort and security, knowing that we're right nearby all the time to help her out. Rayne also drinks a lot. When you are nursing this many puppies, you lose a lot of hydration in your body. So she drinks probably a half a dozen bowls of water a day. It's a lot of water. Every time we come in, it seems we have to fill up her water. And we're in and out of here all the time. So she's left alone for short periods of time when we close the door and we're in the main part of the house, and we give her complete privacy. And that is so she can relax, settle, and catch a little bit of sleep herself. Because when we're in here, then of course she wants to be awake, she wants to interact, she wants to be feeling like she's having some social time. And she also likes it because she feels then that she doesn't have to be so responsible for the puppies, that she can let whoever's in here kind of take over and puppy sit for a little while. It gives her a lot of comfort. Now, what are the puppies doing? Well, you can see what they're doing. This is what they do. They are either nursing, as you can see a couple of them are. Silver and Blue are nursing away. Looks like Red fell asleep on the nipple. She might be taking a couple of gulps here and there. Pink and Burgundy and Orange and Green are sleeping. You can see that that's not pink, sorry. That's red, that's there. Sorry, sometimes no, that's not red, that's burgundy. Burgundy and red look too much alike, except for, thank goodness, one of them's a boy and one of them's a girl. So they cuddle up together like this. They go in all sorts of different positions to sleep. They like to be fairly close to Rayne, and they definitely like to be close to one another. And the reason for that is partially for warmth, although you can see Rayne is panting, and that's because it is still warm in here. It is approximately 24 degrees that we keep the room at. We'll be turning it down to 23 today because they are a week old. And then we just keep an eye on them. If they sleep all cuddled up and they're on top of each other, then we know we have to turn the temperature up. If they're all spilled out all over the place and sleeping separate, then we know they're a little bit too warm, and so then we turn the temperature down. But really, we let each litter tell us. Now you can see this box is fairly small, so when you have a litter of 4 puppies, there's lots of space. When you've got 9, everybody's all cuddled up very closely, so that does tend to make things a little warmer. So that is all the puppies do all day and all night. Eat, sleep, and repeat. That's it. That's their only job, is to eat and grow and get stronger. Now these guys, we're going to do their weights in a little bit, because the first milestone that we usually comment on with puppies is whether they've doubled their birth weight. Now we like to see them doubling their birth weight within the first 2 weeks. As long as it's within the first 10 days, they're superstars. If it's within the first week, holy macaroni, they're incredible, and that's really a really strong accomplishment. When you have 9 puppies, that's a lot of puppies to get to double their birth weight in just 7 days. So that requires a lot of energy from Rayne and really good nutrition, and it does require very nice, robust puppies who are strong enough to nurse consistently and pretty much constantly. So we'll go through and see if anyone has doubled their birth weight yet, or if we're going to have to wait for a while. But as long as they have achieved that by week 2, then there's no cause for alarm or concern or worry. And how much a puppy weighs right now is not necessarily indicative of whether that puppy will be the biggest puppy in the litter or the smallest. Very often the puppy who starts off very tiny and has small incremental weight gains ends up at the end of the day actually being the biggest puppy in the litter. So don't think that you can find out, oh, this puppy is the smallest, so it's going to be the smallest forever, because that would be far too simple. So now let's talk a little bit about early neurological stimulation and just exactly what that is. So this is a program that was developed actually by the United States military, and it was to develop dogs who were going to go into combat who would have more resilience. And by resilience, I mean that they would be in the midst of combat. Things would be exploding all around them. Everything would be extremely high stress, frenetic activity, followed by long periods of where you have to be extremely quiet. And lots of activity, lots of bursts of actual physical activity. And so it was thought that early neurological stimulation would set a puppy up for success in this type of role, physiologically and mentally. That idea has been somewhat debunked since then. There is really no empirical evidence that says, oh yeah, if you do ENS, for sure your puppy's going to have a stronger heart, be more calm, be more resilient in the face of danger. So it doesn't have any actual proof that this happens. However, I think that the whole idea is really good, and it follows along with my general philosophy of raising puppies. What we want and what you want in your Labradoodle is a puppy who embraces new experiences, a puppy who's curious about the world without being stupid and, foolishly encountering situations that are perhaps dangerous. And you don't want a puppy who's timid and shy and then maybe at some point starts to bark, growl, or even bite out of fear. You want one that's sort of in the middle of these things. So with ENS, what I've done is sort of develop my own variation of it. I'm going to use Burgundy here as our little poster boy to demonstrate. I don't think he'll mind. So ENS is just a series of very short exercises that exposes the puppy to a situation that they would not normally encounter. What we're doing right now is one of those. I'm holding him. He's up in the air. In dog world, there is no being picked up ever. It's only humans who pick puppies up, or dogs. Dogs do not pick one another up. This is not an activity that would ever be found in a dog's life were it not for people. So just picking them up in the air is one of the things. Another thing that we do is we flip them over upside down, very gently, support them so they don't feel insecure. And we want to see them just relax. I think he's quite relaxed. He's going to fall asleep. And then after we've done it a few times and they're comfortable, then we'll stroke their tummies. Now, ALDs are dogs who go upside down naturally, so this is not something that's a particularly difficult thing to get them to enjoy. Now, while they're down here, the other thing we do is we touch their feet. We touch each one of their toes, because we want them to become desensitized to that, so that when we're clipping their claws, they don't mind at all. They're totally used to you touching their feet. And then we touch around their face, on their lips, touch them on the nose. I usually give them a little kiss like this. The other thing that can be involved with this is scent. So I will usually bring something or other in for them to smell. A cup of coffee, for instance, something that has an aroma that is not something that is normal in a dog world. And then when you do this, the other thing you will do is you'll hold them upside down briefly, just like this with their head down, And that's how long those exercises last for. Very, very short, and you only do one a day. I just showed you all of them that we do rather than just tell you what they are. And then you'll see how I'm holding him up on my chest here. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, we're doing what's called scenting. He's getting my scent. He's remembering me. I want him to be really imprinted on my scent. And although he can't hear, because I'm talking, he's getting all the vibrations from my chest and getting used to that as well. So when I do talk and his ears do open, it's not going to be a surprise for him. So this week we will start on clipping their nails. So why do we clip their nails so early? Well, the main reason for that is because they can scratch that milk bar really easily. You can see that Rayne's skin is all exposed here. We do shave her tummy off, all of our girls, in order to make sure that there's much easier access to the nipples. And you see Silver's falling asleep with his nipple pacifier in his mouth here. Looks which is a little bit milk drunk, I think. So it's easy when their claws are sharp, and they already are getting sharp, when they're needing to get the milk to come out faster like Purple's doing there. And then it's easy if they drag their claw to get a little scratch. And if you get a scratch, it's super easy for bacteria to get in. When moms are nursing like this, their immune system is fairly weakened because all of their energy is going into feeding these babies. So it's much more easy for them to get an infection. And when they get an infection in their mammary gland, that's big trouble. Mastitis is something that breeders constantly worry about. It can actually be fatal to girls, and it's a big pain in the neck for everybody to work with. So we want to avoid any chance of mastitis. So we do keep their claws clipped nice and short. I also usually use an emery board, and I file them down after I clip them, just so that the edges are not so rough. So now let's talk about you a little bit and getting ready for your new puppy's arrival. So we're going to be sending all of you on this litter list video that is going to go through the steps, the most important steps that you need to take in order to be prepared at home for your puppy's arrival. And this is in terms of physical things at your home. Things such as finding which door your dog is going to go out of to go to the bathroom, what areas may or may not be a dog-free zone. What are you going to do about if your puppy wants to go on the furniture? Things like that. So we just talk about that in the video, so we'll be sending that out to you over the next week so you can have a look at that. And then the other thing to start doing is picking a name. You want to start thinking of a name for your puppy. Now, when you're thinking of a name for your puppy, it's ideal if you have a name that's more than one syllable. Not too long. We don't want a name that's, 4 or 5 syllables long. Ideally one that's a couple of syllables. And the reason for that is it's really good to be able to shorten your dog's name. So let's use Rayne. That's only 1 syllable. That's not 2. But we can take Rayne's name and we can make it Ray Ray, and we can make it Ray. So she has a nickname. So when I'm talking to her and I'm just talking to her like this, I can say, oh, Ray Ray. And actually what we do call her quite often is Rainy Day. I'll say, oh, Rainy Day. How's it going, Rain? Oh, Rainy's such a good girl. What a good girl Miss Rayne is. Oh, we love our little Ray Ray, don't we? What a girl. Things like that. Whereas if I really want her attention, perhaps she's gone somewhere and there's an imminent danger, or if it's like you have to come back right now, then I can say, Rayne. I see, I get a totally different reaction. It's almost instant. She's like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Mom's got a different tone of voice and my name's being said very sharply. So things like that. Keep that in mind when you're picking a name. Pick a name that means something to you, something that has some relationship to some memory you have, a dream, a name you've always loved, maybe from a book or a movie. You may want to think of something that goes along with Vancouver Island, or the name of the litter, Rayneforest Warriors. The name came from that because, of course, we have rain. We live in a rainforest, so rainforest. And samurai is our papa of this litter, and samurais are warriors in Japan. So that's how we came up with Rayneforest Warrior. So maybe you can put some of those together. Maybe you can find a cool Japanese name, or something perhaps that harkens back to Australia, where the breed originated. Or maybe it has nothing to do with any of those things and it's just a name that you like. Ideally, you'll avoid really popular names. So right now you'll find there's a lot of dogs who are named Finn. There's a lot of dogs who are Lucy, Sadie, things like that. The reason why you want to kind of avoid those more popular names is if you're somewhere, so let's say it's off season and you're at the beach. So we live close to Rathtrevor Beach in Parksville, and we like to go there with our grandkids. And during the off season, the dogs are allowed to be off leash at that beach. So let's say they're running around off leash, and I want Rayne to come back to me. If I say, Rayne, come on, Rayne. Well, she knows her name is Rayne, and nobody else is going to answer, most likely, because Rayne is not that common a name. But if I said Finn or Lucy, I'd likely end up with 15 dogs coming to me. It's also harder for your dog to distinguish that sound is particular to them. It's really important that when you pick a name, that they are readily able to ascertain that the sound you make when you call them using their name is particular to them. Now, in our Head Start program, name recognition and recall is something that we will be doing. So keep that in mind as well. So if you're planning on putting your puppy into Head Start, that you have your name sorted out by the time we do allocations. So that's everything for today, and now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to go through each puppy, and let's see how we did in terms of milestones and doubling our birth weight. So as always, we'll do the puppies in birth order, and number 1 is our little red collar girl, who's sound asleep here at the milk bar, but not nursing anymore. Red is our gorgeous ebony puppy. Oh, she's going to show you her beautiful yawn. Look at the gleam on that coat. This is something we love to see. It shows us how healthy these puppies are, and that Rayne's milk bar is just thriving. So Little Miss Red is today 620 pounds, or no, not pounds, 620 grams, which is a 93% gain. So by tomorrow, she'll be at the 100% mark. But for today, she's not quite at doubling her birth weight. But tomorrow, I'm pretty sure she will be. So she's doing just fine. Then we have Blue Collar Boy, who is still nursing. And that's our little brown fellow here. And I'll just grab him here. There we go. Come on, buddy. Oh, he says, I don't want to let go. This is our little tyke. Look at how tiny this guy is fitting in my hand here. Our little chocolate sable boy who's madly trying to find where the nipple went. Mr. Blue is 335 grams. Quite a difference from the 620 of his sister. I'm just going to put him back because I want him to be nursing some more. And Silver Collar's trying to steal his spot, but fortunately didn't actually find the nipple. He was just sucking away on skin. So there's Blue back there. He's ravenous. So Mr. Blue is just got a 40% gain. So that's a bit low, definitely lower than the others, but it's fine. He's super healthy. He's not dehydrated. We have paid particular attention to him. And what we are doing is coming in multiple times throughout the day, and we're putting him on the back nipple here. This is where the richest and largest supply of milk is. These two mammary glands are always the fullest. So we're coming in and we're sitting and making sure that he's not getting knocked off, because what happens when we're not here, see, just he on his own there just dropped it. First of all, sometimes he nurses where there's not an actual nipple. There we go. And his sisters and brothers come and boot him off because they're so much larger than he is. So we're just giving him a little bit of extra help. Does this mean in any way that he's compromised? Absolutely not. As I said, it may end up, he ends up being the largest dog in the litter. So let's move on now to Yellow Collar, who is somewhere in here. I just have to check everybody's collars still, because there's there we go. There we go. Here's Yellow. Yellow is a beautiful chocolate. I do not think that Yellow is a sable. I think he is a regular old beautiful chocolate boy with his little adorable goatee. You can see the goatees a little bit more clearly now that they're a bit bigger, and the white on his body there. And Mr. Yellow has indeed doubled his birth weight. He is more than doubled his birth weight, and he is now at 561 grams. And look at all those gorgeous striations of color there. Oh, just such a pretty puppy. Then we go to Mr. Orange Collar. And Mr. Orange, I just saw you. Where are you? That's green, and you're purple. And I think that's pink and red. Oh no, I've lost a puppy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, here we go. That's burgundy. Oh, I'm missing a puppy. Here he is. There he is, hiding in the back, another chocolate sable. But you can see that Mr. Orange is a completely different color. He is more of a copper color. He's got a whole bunch of lint on him here that he got from being in the back. And interestingly, it looks like, I think it's just the color. I was going to say it looked like his eyes were even starting to slit a bit. We don't expect eyes to be opening for another week, so that'd be pretty early. But this is a good example of a great big fat tummy. Look at how wide this tummy is on this guy. This is one plump little fellow. And Mr. Orange has more than doubled his birth weight, and he is 609 grams. I should have also said that Red, who has not doubled her birth weight, she is still the biggest puppy in the litter. And of course, Blue is the smallest. There you go. You go see Mama. That's a good boy. Then we have our little pink collar girl, who is right here. Come here, Pinky. Pinky is a beautiful, gleaming ebony puppy. She's got lots of white markings on her. Oh, she says, I'm a little annoyed you took me off the milk bar. She has doubled her birth weight, and she is now at 573 grams and has a great big yawn for you there. I'm just going to sneak her back in underneath where she was, because I think she may have had a little bit of a feast going on from the other side. Then Silver Collar Boy over here, who's making his way over to the milk bar. Another big yawn, another beautiful ebony with some white on him. It's like, that's a nice little puppy. And Mr. Silver also has doubled his birth weight, and he is now 508 grams. And that takes us to Mr. Green. Here, do you want to come over here? You go sit next to Purple. And Mr. Green, where are you? Mr. Green, calling Mr. Green. Nope, I don't want you. You're yellow. We already had you. Yes, we did. We already had you. Here's Mr. Green. Come here, Mr. Green. Oh, no. Mr. Green is nursing, so he's going to be angry at me for taking him off. So you can't imagine how strong these puppies are. These are little puppies, and I am working to get him off the nipple without yanking him, obviously, but that suction is pretty strong. Mr. Green was pretty determined he was going to stay there. This is our handsome, I think he might be a black, even though he looks brown. I think he's probably genetically a black sable. If you look, you can see that nose looks black, and the pads on his feet look very black. So we're going to have to change you to a black dog from a brown dog. And he has doubled his birth weight and is 523 grams. And he's probably thinking, well, I can't double my birth weight if you keep taking me off of the milk bar. That wasn't very nice. Okay, so we'll put him down there, see if he can find a spot again. Miss Purple is next, so he'll probably take her spot. And you can watch and see if he finds it. Yep, right away, just like a little magnet. Sorry, Miss Perpy Derpy. Purple is our pretty little ebony boy. He's got lots of white on him, little white on his tips of his toes, cute little goatee. Perpy has doubled his birth weight, and he is now 616 grams. And I couldn't have been too hungry because he appears to be quite happy to fall asleep now. And last but not least, we have Mr. Burgundy, who is, oh, you're green. Mr. Burgundy, oh no, that's yellow. Mr. Burgundy and Mr. Yellow look quite similar. Mr. Burgundy is over here at the front, getting this front spot in the milk bar, which is usually not the most popular. Come along, handsome. There we go. And Burgundy also looks like, is he a chocolate? I think I've said he was. And I can't tell quite yet for sure, but his pads look like they're black. So I expect that he too is actually a black sable. And he has doubled his birth weight and is 550 grams. So that's all the kids. They're all just doing so nicely. I'm so incredibly proud of Rayne and the beautiful job that she's doing with them. She's really keeping up with them with no problem. She's happy. Her tail's going all the time. And everybody is just doing great. And you can see her coat is also beautiful. It's silky. It's got a beautiful shine to it. And that just tells you how much the raw nutrition really makes a difference. Because if you see a kibble-fed mom with 9 puppies, they'll be shedding, their coat will be dull, it'll be very sparse, and they will be running quite thin. So we're quite happy that we have a nice, healthy weight with a good, shiny, rich, soft coat, and 9 babies who are just thriving. So hope you enjoyed today's video. We really hope you'll take a minute and pop a comment in for us. It helps us out a lot. Plus it lets me talk to you, which I always enjoy. And if you don't have time for that, a thumbs up. And please make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you can see all of our videos throughout the year. Thank you so much for watching.